Hi, Courtney here today to talk to you about some ways to save money on food that don't include you not ever going out to eat or having fun. And so some of these things are tried and true and some may be new to you. And the reason some things you hear over and over and over again in the frugal world or the minimalist world or the money saving, getting out of debt world is because they work. And so we're going to start. I have 15. Did I say 13? I have 15 here that I want to share with you. So let's get started. The first one is to buy off brand. The other day, had this experience. I had gone to visit my parents, and my dad was saying that when he worked, he was putting down floors years ago in a Maxwell House factory, and they were doing the printing of the cans. And he said it would go Maxwell House, Maxwell House, Maxwell House, and then it would go Kroger, Kroger, Kroger. Same coffee, and just a different can and a different label. So I went to Walmart yesterday, and I had been buying like the Javalia coffee or the more fancy coffees, and we have some goals. We're trying to get to retirement in 4 years, and I purchased the Walmart brand coffee, and I was shocked that it was delicious. It was actually better than Folgers or Maxwell House, and I would say it was comparative to Javalia or one of the higher brands. It cost me $9 for about and that was with tax, about 2 months worth of coffee. So I also switched from Tide to the name brand Walmart detergent. And, there's just a lot of things. There are a few name brand things that I like the Kashi cereal that I get from my husband that we're not switching. But switching over just a few of these items could save you as much as $50 on a grocery trip. If you switch over 10 items and it saves you $5 an item, especially on big things, or, it can just save you so much money. You can cut about 20% off your grocery budget by buying the store brand. And make sure that you look to make sure the store brand is the cheapest. Sometimes there are other brands that are cheaper as well than the store brand. Number 2 is eat as unprocessed plant-based as possible. Now, yes, I'm 100% whole food plant-based. I know that only 4% of the population is that strict. I think the 10 to 20% of the world has become vegetarian or flexitarian, which is great. And I want to encourage people for your health that's wonderful. However, eating more things like beans, rice, fruits, and vegetables can really help reduce it can reduce your budget, and B, it can increase your health and reduce your healthcare cost. So trying to find a few whole food plant-based, or look for budget whole food plant-based meals, maybe switch to your breakfast. That's usually the easiest one, or your snacks to whole food plant-based, like hummus and carrots. I make hummus from scratch. It's super easy and cheap, and it lasts for about 4 or 5 days. Cutting up carrots, and yesterday we went on a little picnic. I made a whole grain brown rice pasta salad with homemade hummus and a bunch of veggies. It was so good, and we cut up watermelon. So more whole food plant-based meals. Number 3 is to meal plan. I feel like this is a drum that's been beat for years. Meal planning helps you to stay on track. I go in the store because I do have such a strict dietary demand. I don't want people picking out my food because it is really different than normal culture, I guess, for the West. But sticking to a meal plan. So my parents order all their food on Walmart.com or Kroger, and they go and pick it up. That can save you tons of money. But also cooking once and eating twice or more. A lot of people in this whole food plant-based world will cook up enough food for 5 days, and they don't mind eating the same thing for 5 meals. So they'll make 2 different meals plus a breakfast, and they'll eat that for 5 days. I can't do that. I get really nauseous. That makes me gag, but I don't mind eating the same meal 2 or 3 times. So I do what I call cook once, eat twice. I cooked a bunch of food yesterday. We ate it yesterday. We'll eat it today. There may be a little left over tomorrow. So every other day. So I only have to cook maybe 7 meals at the most per week, or have a couple of easy meals on hand, which brings me to number 4, which is pantry shop. Always keep things in your pantry like tortillas and refried beans or beans and rice, and then you can add to those to make a meal. Looking at what you have in your pantry. So let's say you have 4 cans of kidney beans and you have a pack of cornbread or cornmeal. Well, right there, let's say you don't have any tomato sauce. Right there you have most of the makings for chili and cornbread. So maybe all you need is, you probably have your spices, or maybe you need some chili powder, which is like $1.50 or $2, and you need some tomatoes and maybe whatever else you're going to put in your chili. So that's a really cheap way. If you only have to buy 1 or 2 things for a meal, so much cheaper than buying, the whole meal. So shop your pantry. Number 5 is cook or eat many times. So I have already mentioned that. Making food and putting it in containers. We talk about meal prep these days. I'm 51 years old. We used to just call it eat your leftovers. Some people are opposed to eating leftovers, and that's fine. But eating leftovers can save you so much, because if you can make like spaghetti, a lot of times you can get those costs down to $2 a serving for something, and you can eat on that all week and you won't have to have any leftovers. So cook once, eat twice or more. Make tea or flavored drinks. When I was growing up, Coca-Cola was not, and things like that, soda pop, that was not something that we had on the regular. My family did love Coca-Cola, but we also made tea and ice water. I'm from the South, so making tea is very common and it's very cheap. So making tea, sweetened or unsweetened with whatever you want, or infused water with fruit or cucumbers, is a great way. Another thing is to also just look at those packets of flavored water. If you really don't like regular water, I know for me, I just can't. I have a condition where I have to hydrate a lot. I can't seem to get enough water in. So I do use the flavored water packs, but I buy the generic ones, and it is substantially cheaper than buying like Gatorade or something like that. Okay. Picnic. Plan picnics. Throw some things in a cooler. Take your food with you rather than eating out. It is substantially cheaper. It's summer right now where I live, so pasta salads, tortilla roll-ups. If you can make sandwiches, you could take fruit salad. You can make up a pan of brownies or muffins or something like that. Cut up a watermelon, but picnicking is substantially cheaper. Again, most people, even in this high inflation area arena that we're in these days, can get their meals to $2 or $3 a serving, and sometimes less. Oatmeal in the morning is about 25 cents with all the fixings on it. So much cheaper. So if you are spending a ton on groceries, consider picnicking when you go out, and it really can be fun. Number 9 is invest in a thermos or a cooler. So yeah, keep a cooler. Even when I leave to go to work, and I'm going to say always, but the truth is occasionally I forget and I pay for it, literally. Always take something to drink with you. Get you a thermos or a cup, insulated cup. Fill it with water or your fruit drink or whatever it is you're drinking, your iced tea. Take it with you. And if you're going to be gone for a long time, take a refill. Get a lunch bag or a cooler and fill that up. I have a thermos as well. Fill that up with ice water or fruit punch or whatever you like, and take it with you. That way you're not tempted to stop at the gas station and spend $2 to $3 a person on gas. Take snacks with you. Yesterday I cut up, as I said, a bunch of veggies and watermelon, and I had some hummus. And because I had it there, I'm more likely to eat it, because as humans, we are wired psychologically to go with what's easy. It was easier for me to eat that than to stop at the store and get a snack. And it was cheaper. So you're more likely to follow your health and dietary plan if it's easy. Number 10 is always carry a snack. I just mentioned that. And so, yeah, always carry a snack. Do not leave the house. Easy snacks are apples, oranges, and bananas. Those little cuties are easy to peel. Little packs of carrots are still cheaper than buying chips at the store. Making muffins or crackers or things like that are great as well. Number 11 is set yourself a budget. Now, I use reward points, but for a while this year when inflation started rising, I started taking cash with me to the store. And I did that because I wanted to get back in the habit of recognizing how much I was spending. And I started to recognize very quickly that, like, I picked up a bag of cherries one day and it said something like they were on sale for $2.98 a pound. Well, by the time I got up to, or maybe they weren't that much a pound, maybe they were $4 a pound. And it was a big old bag of cherries, and I love fresh cherries. By the time I got up to the register and put them on the register, it was like $11.92 for that bag of cherries. Now, I would have put that back if I had had cash on normal circumstances, but that day I had enough to pay for it. But anyway, it just makes you more aware. I started noticing things like the family box of Cheerios was cheaper than the big box of Cheerios, the mega box per unit. So using cash, even temporary, just makes you aware, because you're far less likely to overspend if you have a budget and you have cash. And the next one is planning. And I said plan your meals out was part of budgeting. So my mom and I are going out to lunch tomorrow. And I have a plan in my budget for that. I have a plan in my budget for eating out. I know that, like, now I don't have an actual figure, but my husband and I generally eat out every Wednesday. We haven't been lately because I haven't been working Wednesdays, but every Wednesday we go to Tacos for Life. It's $27. I always leave $3 to $5 on the table, even though it's not a waitress or waitress situation, just because I feel for the bussers and the people who clean up. And it's very inexpensive to do that. And I know we're going to do that, so I don't plan a meal for that day. And it's just our little date together. We do allow ourselves eating out 2 times a week right now, but as cases are rising, that may cut back a little bit. The next one is eat out at lunch. Lunch is significantly cheaper than dinner, with the exception of places where you don't have a waiter or a waitress. And so if you're going to some place like Panera or Chipotle where the prices stay the same, it doesn't really matter. But if you're going to some place where you sit down and they have a lunch menu and a dinner menu, lunch is often cheaper. And that is going on to, these kind of run together. Number 13 is drink water or get the small drink. So I didn't even think about this, and I feel kind of stupid. I do think about drinking water. I am going to fully admit that one of my few bad habits in life is I really, really like carbonated diet soda, and specifically Diet Dr. Pepper and Coke Zero. I know it's terrible for me. I do not drink it. I do not keep it in the house. But when we go out, sometimes, not always, I will treat myself to one. And the lady at Tacos for Life, she didn't ask me, but I always just order the drink and they give me the medium. She said, I'm going to give you the small because you're eating in, and it's not really that small. It's only like this much smaller than the medium. And it was like $3 cheaper. Now I go there every week. That's $12 a month. So get the small if it's their free refills, or drink water. Number 14 is be aware of going places with no waiter. When I was growing up, that was the dairy bar or fast food. Now there are all kinds of middle-of-the-road places that have good, healthy, delicious food that is not, you don't have to sit down and be waited on. Again, places like Panera, Chipotle, Tacos for Life, Moe's, those places like Pie 5 Pizza, or where you make your own pizza. They're so much cheaper. They're half the cost of places where you sit down and get a waiter. I do leave a tip, but you don't have to. And it just overall is less expensive, and you get a great meal. Number 15 is share a meal. Now, we don't do this very often because I am whole food plant-based vegan and my husband is only at home. So when we go out, sometimes he'll get things like cheese, or he'll get chicken or something like that, or fish. So he does that more often than not. There's usually something on what he wants that I will not eat, or we have very different taste in food. So we don't share. But my girlfriend and I, when we go out, like let's say we're going to Indian food, and I want the tofu tikka masala, and she wants the lentils and rice. I don't know what it would be called, like a curry. Well, she's also vegan. So if we go out, we might order the meal, or sometimes they'll have like a meal combo where you get a couple things and share that. Or we just might share the tofu tikka masala and some naan and call it a day. And it's much cheaper, and we split the bill. So those are my ideas for staying on a budget or watching your spending. And the thing is, I feel like there is a young man that I watch, and he put it this way, and I've been trying for years to get this point across to people, and that is, you don't have the opportunity to save $1,000 every day. Like when you buy a car, yes. When you buy a house, yes. Or some large purchase. But there are 1,000 ways to save $1 every month. Every month there are. You can not buy something. You can buy the cheaper version of something. You can find an alternate, less expensive version of the thing that you want to do. You could go to the matinee instead of the 6 o'clock movie for half the price. You could choose not to eat popcorn and then eat it at home or whatever. There are so many decisions that save $5 here and $5 there. And if you could just save $10 a day over the course of a year, oh my gosh, let's see. My brain's not working because I have long COVID. I know 365 with a zero on the end is $3,650. And how many people just spend that every day on Amazon or on buying, the extra little thing at the drive-thru or whatever. It's not to say we shouldn't do those things, and I do them too sometimes, but we have to be mindful of how often we're doing them, and we have to budget for them and know, okay, I'm going to allow myself this coffee treat because I'm on vacation, or I'm going to give myself a budget on vacation for this much money every day. And then we stick to that. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe if you find value in this information. Bye-bye.